Then we will start with the brief prayers to the spiritual master.
Mataji, we are live.
Are we live? Sudapa says, then we must really be live. Okay, so let's get started then after these brief prayers to the spiritual master. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Paramami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Gopremanande Hari Hari Bol. All right, welcome to our class on Bhagavad Gita. So which chapter are we doing, dear devotees?
Sixth chapter,
Yoga,
number 24.
Sixth chapter, number 24, correct. So let me bring up sixth chapter, verse number 24, and we will take it from there. So what was so special about 23 verse?
As far as I remember,
We didn't ask
Mataji,
it last
the
week.
key word was Cheto Darpana Marjanam.
Correct,
so that
right?
we can see the self and self.
Right.
Self with S with
Purified mind, right?
yes, with the
Very
Lord,
good.
and the self is ourself.
Right. And so verse number 23 that we did was actually a slew of verses over there, all joined together. So verse 20, 21, 22, and verse number 23, there was only one line here, right? Was a short one, which here became two lines, right? When he was transliterating that into English. Now, when we go to the next verse, which is verse for today, number 24, you see the two lines have appeared, the missing two lines. So sometimes people say that Srila Prabhupada changed the Bhagavad Gita from what it was originally and things like that. It's not that he has changed it or cut anything or added anything to it, because it is Bhagavad Gita as it is. It's just that, he has set forth how the line should be grouped together, because they make sense when they are put like that, right? So we look at today's words here. Sa niścayena yoktavyo yogo nirviṇṇa-cetasā saṅkalpa-prabhavān kāmāṁs tyaktvā sarvān aśeṣataḥ manasaivendriya-grāmaṁ viniyamya samantataḥ. One more time. Sa niścayena yoktavya yogo nirviṇṇa-cetasā saṅkalpa-prabhavān kāmāns tyaktvā sarvān aśeṣataḥ manasaivendriya-grāmaṁ viniyamya samantataḥ. Sa niścayena yoktavyo yogo nirviṇṇa-cetasā saṅkalpa-prabhavān kāmāṁs tyaktvā sarvān aśeṣataḥ manasaivendriya-grāmaṁ viniyamya samantataḥ. Now let's look at the synonyms for this. Saha, that. Niścayena, with firm determination. Yoktavya, must be practiced. Yoga system. Anirviṇṇa-cetasā, without deviation. So nirviṇṇa means when there is deviation, and anirviṇṇa is without deviation. Sankalpa is mental speculations. Give me an example of mental speculation. Do we do any mental speculations? Or is it just me?
No, we all have mental speculation.
Okay, would you like to share a mental speculation on Facebook and YouTube? I have to give this one. Or give me an example of a mental speculation, not necessarily yours. What do people speculate these days a lot? Speculation.
About how the world has come about. What's happening in the world.
Speculation. Let's look at the meaning of the word speculation. The forming of a theory or conjecture without firm evidence. That is speculation. You don't have evidence for it, but you are still raking your brain. Second, investment in stocks, property, or other ventures in the hope of gain, but with the risk of loss. Right? Do people do this?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yes, Mataji.
Right? Yeah. So, speculation. Yoga nirviṇṇa-cetasā. So now here is saying saṅkalpa is mental speculation, right? So much I have invested, so much it will become, right? These are my enemies. I have arranged for them to be killed. You know, so much money I have, then I will become happy, you know, like that. So all mental speculations. Prabhavān, born of, bhavan, to be, kāmān, material desires, tyaktvā, giving up, sarvān, all, aśeṣataḥ, completely. So shesh means remaining, right? Like we see that in Hindi also. 5 में से 5 संतरे थे, 3 संतरे हटाए, तो शेष कितने बचे, right? Remaining. So aśeṣataḥ, means opposite. So then nothing will be remaining. So these mental desires, tyaktvā, you're giving up mental desires, all of them. So that how much? All 100%. So that nothing is remaining completely. Aśeṣataḥ. Manasā, by the mind. Eva, certainly. Indriya-grāmam, the full set of senses. Okay. Can somebody tell me what is there in this full box of senses? What is this full set of senses?
Indriya-grāmam? What?
Yeah. I'm asking you, what is that? What is inside that set? What is that set made up of?
5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses.
Correct, right. And the mind, right? Okay. So indriya-grāmam, the full set of senses. Viniyamya, regulating. Niyam means rules and regulations, right? So viniyamya means is intensified a lot. Do you do any kind of regulation in your life?
Yeah, we are following the 4 regulative principles.
Correct. Right? So that is viniyamya. We do that, right? We also do regulations in our mundane life. Get up in the morning, you have to brush your teeth. Before you go to sleep, you have to brush your teeth. You have to take a shower, right? All that is regulating, right? Samantataḥ, from all the sides, okay? So one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation and thus control all the senses on all sides. Samantataḥ. On all sides, how are you going to control it? By the mind. How can the mind control the senses? Because lowest is the dull matter, above the dull matter is the senses, above the senses is the mind, above mind is the intelligence, above the intelligence is the soul, above the soul is the super soul. right? So that hierarchy is there. So mind has got that powers to control the senses, right? And what does it say? And control all the senses on all the sides. All the sides, right? Like, for example, if there's a human being or a naughty child in front of you, and you want to control the child physically, right? So if you just hold one hand of the child, there's not much of a control, right? Because the child can do things with the next hand, the other hand, and also do things with the feet, right? So when you really want to control a small child who's trying to run, fall into water or something, you want to control that, you'll scoop the child in your arms and then hold so that arms, legs, everything is controlled. From all the sides, you have controlled it, right? Similarly, they are saying that you should control all the senses on all the sides. Why? Because the senses go in all the sides, right? They have a tendency to go in all the directions, right? Sometimes we feel like, wish I had eyes in my back also. Because I have to turn my head because we want to see what's happening in my back. Who's looking at me from the back, right? So, and then ears, they go in all the directions trying to hear. So senses will be going on all the sides and you have to control it by on all the sides, right? And so then there are two ingredients that they are saying that, you should engage in the practice of yoga with what? Two things.
Faith and determination.
Faith and determination, right? And then you should not be deviated from the path. Okay, let's look at the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The yoga practitioner should be determined and should patiently prosecute the practice without deviation. One should be sure of success at the end and pursue this course with great perseverance, not becoming discouraged if there is any delay in the attainment of success. Success is sure for the rigid practitioner. Regarding Bhakti Yoga, Rupa Goswami says, Utsahan niścayena tat karma parvartanat sangatyagat sato vritte shadbir bhakti prasiddhyati. Okay, from where is this verse?
Nectar of instruction.
Nectar of instruction, very good. One can execute the process of Bhakti Yoga successfully with full-hearted enthusiasm, perseverance, and determination, right? So there are three things he's talking about here. Rupa Goswami in his Nectar of Instruction or Updeshamrita, verse number 3, he's saying what? We can execute the process of Bhakti Yoga successfully. How? What are the three ingredients there?
Full-hearted enthusiasm, perseverance, and determination.
What's the second word?
Perseverance.
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 Perseverance, yeah. And determination. By following the prescribed duties in the association of devotees and by engaging completely in activities of goodness. Okay? So, sato vritte. Sato vritte means association. Sat is the devotee. Vritte. So you are in their association. Sangatyagat. You give up your material things, right? Okay. Shadbhir. Shad means 6. These are the 6 things that will help you. So now here's a very nice example that Prabhupada gives in the purport. He says that for determination, one should follow the example of the sparrow who lost her eggs in the waves of the ocean. A sparrow laid her eggs on the shore of the ocean, but the big ocean carried away the eggs on its waves. The sparrow became very upset and asked the ocean to return her eggs. But the ocean did not even consider her appeal. So the sparrow decided to dry up the ocean. She began to pick out the water in her small beak, and everybody laughed at her for her impossible determination. The news of her activity spread, and at last Garuda, the gigantic bird carrier of Lord Vishnu, heard it. He became compassionate towards his small sister bird, and so he came to see the sparrow. Garuda was very pleased by the determination of the small sparrow, and he promised to help. Thus Garuda at once asked the ocean to return her eggs, lest he himself take up the work of the sparrow. The ocean was frightened at this and returned the eggs. Thus the sparrow became happy by the grace of Garuda. Similarly, the practice of Bhakti Yoga, especially Bhakti Yoga in Krishna consciousness, may appear to be a very difficult job. But if anyone follows the principles with great determination, the Lord will surely help, for Lord helps those who help themselves. Hari Om. That's it. So here, of course, there's the story of the sparrow, but I also like, this utsaha niścayena metta instruction, and I'm just going to go there, and we're going to look at the purport, how Prabhupada goes deeper into, this. So this is here, utsahan niścayena. So utsahan is enthusiasm. And enthusiasm, Guru Maharaj explains that enthusiasm comes from the word theos. So enthu comes from theos. Theos means God, right? So enthusiasm is something that comes from God. And where is God in this material body?
Yes.
Where is he?
Paramatma.
Yeah, where?
Hmm.
Where?
As a
Where?
super soul in our heart.
In the heart, right? Yeah. Where? The answer is simple, heart, right? So he's in the heart. And so the Theo, or the Lord in the heart, gives you that urge, that enthusiasm, that the enthusiasm comes from the Lord, right? Niścayat, by confidence. Dhairyat, by patience. So utsahan niścayat dhairyat. Tat karma, various activities favorable for devotional service. Pravartanat, by performing. Sangatyaga, by giving up the association of non-devotees. Sataha, of the great previous acharyas. Vritte, by following in the footsteps. Shadbihi, by these 6. Bhakti, devotional service. Prasidhyati, advances or becomes successful. Tell me the example of somebody who did Sangatyaga and had a fall down.
Bharat Maharaj.
Bharat Maharaj, correct. Right, for 500 points. Okay. So utsahan niścayat dhairya. There are, by Prabhupada translation, there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and 6, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service, right? Be enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to 4 regulative principles, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. These are the 6 that we should do, right? Devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. Srila Rupa Goswami, in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, has defined devotional service as follows: Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. Uttama bhakti, or unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So unalloyed basically means it doesn't have any tinge of material, right? Materialism in it. So tam means material world or ignorance or darkness, which is the material world. And ut means beyond, right? So uttama bhakti is one bhakti which is beyond tama, or beyond the material, right? Otherwise, Krishna will tell you in chapter 7, right? Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna artho jigyasi arthati. So artho arthati, what are they doing? This is material, right? So, but uttama bhakti is beyond that. So what does it do? It involves the rendering of devotional service in such a way that is favorable to the Lord. The devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive, anyabhlashita shunyam, right? Free from any extraneous motive, and devoid of fruitive karma, impersonal, jnana, and other selfish desires. Jnana karmadi anavritam. Now here it says bhakti is a sort of cultivation. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity, right? Cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation. Okay, so we'll stop here and first look at cultivation. So how do cultivation, I'm asking about cultivation in the material world, right? So how do we cultivate things in the material world? Like how do we cultivate a crop or a plant? harvest? How do you do that? What are some of the steps that you will do from the beginning till the end? And
First
to
one,
end.
We prepare the land, then we buy the seeds and we plant the seeds, then watering.
Right. And then
And-
what else will you do? As soon
and-
as you water it, what else? The plant will grow, right? What else will grow?
Weeds.
Weeds. So you have to remove the weeds, right? And from time to time, you also have to make sure that your plants get sunshine, your plants get manure, right? Like that. So here also he's saying that bhakti has to be cultivated. So that means, the soil has to be prepared. Your environment has to be prepared, right? If you're saying, I'm going to sit among non-devotee and I'm going to do devotional service, the chances of success are much less, right? And then I should be arranging for sunshine to fall, which means I should make sure that, something from outside comes into my life, some vibrations. I go to Harinam, I go to the temple, and things like that, right? Weeds, anarthas, anarthas come, right? And it is such an interesting thing that just as we pour water on plants with the intention of the plant growing and nourishing from that water, the weeds also grow. So if you were to take this with devotional service, like so if I'm pouring some water in my devotional practice, making it grow, weeds also grow, right? So I could be going and say, I sing at the temple. So that is, pouring some water in my devotional service because, that vibration, I'm spreading those vibrations. Now, with that vibration, so after the song is over, the whole temple claps. And then the thought process starts in the mind. I'm such a beautiful singer. Nobody else sings better than me. And then when the next person comes and sings, now we're sitting inside, we are criticizing. Oh, that person went bad there, that person went bad there, like that, right? So when you're trying to do devotional service also, some weeds can grow from that. So we have to be careful of, removing such weeds there. So here he's saying, cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some pseudo-yogis teach. Such idle meditation may be good for those who have no information of devotional service, and for this reason, it is sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting material activities. Meditation means stopping all nonsensical activities, at least for the time being. Devotional service, however, not only puts an end to all nonsensical mundane activities, but also engages one in meaningful devotional activities. Srila Prabhupada Maharaj recommends in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandyam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. The 9 processes of devotional service as follows. Number 1, hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, we sing every Sunday at our temple after the prasadam prayers are over. We sing this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which lists those people who benefited and got liberated from pursuing one of these 9 items of devotional service. So the first item of devotional service is hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is Shravanam, right? So, Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshita Bhavut, right? So it's saying that by hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parikshit Maharaj got out of this material world. Parikshita Bhavut, right? The second one is chanting his glories. So who was chanting the glories when Parikshit was listening?
Sukhdev Goswami.
Sukhdev Goswami, right? He's a son of
Vyasdev.
Vyasdeva, right? So, Shri Vishnu Smarane Parikshita Bhavut Vaiyasakir Kirtane. So, Vyasdev's son is known as Vaiyasaki Kirtane. So, he was kirtaning, he was chanting his glories of the Lord. So, he got, out of this world through that act. So, Shri Vishnu Shramane Parikshita Bhavut Vaiyasakir Kirtane. Prahalada Smarane. Prahalada Smarane. Number 3, remembering the Lord. Right? Prahalada Smarane. Sri Vishnu Shravane Parikshita Bhavut Vaiyasaki Kirtane Prahalada Smarane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi. So Angri means feet. Bhajane means to serve. So serving the Lord lotus feet, who gets? Lakshmi, right? Prithu Pujane. Prithu Maharaj worshipping the deity. Okay. Number 6, Akrurastvabhivandane. So Akrur, by offering obeisances unto the Lord, right? We know when Akrur went to bring Krishna to Mathura, what a warm welcome he gives. He falls on the floor because he sees the footsteps of Krishna. Like that. So Dasye, right? So Akrurastvabhivandane kapipate dasye. So Kapipatir means the king of the monkeys. Who's the king of the monkeys?
Supreme.
King of the monkeys. Hanuman, right? So Kapipatir dasye. Dasye means acting as a servant. Dasye. So Kapipati dasye tasakhya Arjuna. Making friends, Sakhya means friends. So making friends with the Lord. Who is the friend of the Lord? Arjuna. Right? And then Tasye Tasyakya Arjuna. Sarva Snapna Nivedane Balirabhut. So
Bali Maharaj.
Surrendering oneself fully to the Lord. Right? Krishna Primesham Para. By doing all these, they found Krishna and achieved Krishna, who is transcendental, Para. Right? So Shravanam or hearing is the first step in acquiring transcendental knowledge. One should not give oral reception to unauthorized person, but should approach the proper person as recommended in Bhagavad Gita 4.34. Tadvidi paripatyena pariprashnena sevaya uptekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tatvadarshana. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because you have seen the truth. Right? So if we are away from our spiritual master and we don't have the opportunity to meet with him, stand in front of him and ask him questions like that, or even to serve him, right? So then you can always hear his lectures, his recordings, right? And if you have faith, and faith was one of the things which is important in devotional service. So if you have faith in your spiritual master and you are faced with a problem, you go to listen to his lecture, you'll find an answer to your problem in that lecture that day. That's what spiritual masters do, right? So here what they're saying is that one should not give oral reception to unauthorized person, but should approach the proper person. It's very, very important. Sometimes we just say that, we'll just go and listen to anybody and everybody. Right? But that's not right. Milk is very good. It's very nourishing. But if the milk is touched by a snake, then it becomes poison. And it's no longer nourishing to you. It will kill you. Right? So similarly, when these shastras or the scriptural knowledge is touched by the mouth or the tongue or the vibrations of a non-devotee, it will have its effect on you. Right? That's why sometimes people ask this question that, hey, can I go and watch a movie that shows Krishna's pastimes? And then people can look at it from various angles and respond from various angles, right? They might say, well, yeah, well, at least the person did not say that I want to go and watch Umrao Jan or something like that on television. I'm saying it is, Krishna Katha. I'm just going to watch that. So that's one way of looking at it, right? But the acharyas caution us and say, don't do that because they're not written by devotees. So number one, you don't know the authenticity of the katha. Are they following the scriptures completely or not, as it is, right? Because sometimes in order to bring in dramatic effects to the movie, they might bring in stuff which is not true. And that's going to have an impact on your So that's why they recommend that always listen. If you want to watch drama, there's plenty of drama ISKCON puts here and there, right? There's going to be a Ramayana, Ram Navami drama that they're going to put, right? So there's plenty of entertainment. There's plenty on YouTube coming from the devotees that you really don't have to go to Bollywood to know about Krishna, right? So they say just do that. So you see, here Prabhupada is saying, do not give oral reception to unauthorized persons, but approach the proper person as recommended here, right? Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. It is further recommended in the Mundak Upanishad that Vigyartham sa gurum evabi gachet. To understand that transcendental science, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. If you have one, go to yours. If you don't have one, go to a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, this method of submissively receiving transcendental confidential knowledge is not merely based on mental speculation. Because you're sitting alone, you're reading, you take up the Bhagavad Gita, you read. Then some word comes or some line comes. And you're like, what could this mean? Maybe it means this. Or maybe it means that. Oh, I think it means this. And that is what
This is
we should not
speculation.
do. Right. This is speculation. And we should not be doing that. Why? Because we have got 4 defects. Right? So our mind, our senses are imperfect. We can make mistakes. So if we make mistakes in interpreting the Shastra, then we are gone. So instead of doing that, you listen to Shastra that has been interpreted by those who are in the disciplic succession, which starts from Krishna. Krishna says that, right? So you have to understand, and this method of submissively receiving transcendental knowledge is not merely based on mental speculation. In this regard, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami, Brahmande Brahmite Kaun Bhagyavan Jeev. Brahmand Brahmite means in this Brahman, in this universe, you are doing, you're on a holiday, going from this planet to that planet, to hellish planet, to earth, and to heavenly planet, down to hellish again, like that you're doing Pariyavatan, going here and there. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Latabi. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, you get the seed of devotional service so that you can cultivate devotional service, right? In the earlier they were talking about, right? That it is cultivation. Varshana Mataji, do you have a question or is it a old hand?
Yeah, yes, Mataji, I have a question. Now here you see description is coming that like we should not go to the movie and other things, you see. And many a times, Mataji, this question is being asked about the Mahabharat battle. It is not written in this thing, Britannia book of, what is that? Encyclopedia Britannia, yeah. And it is not in the World Book Encyclopedia also. Mataji, why is this that there is no mention of Mahabharat battle there and about Krishna, and these scriptures, when were they written? There is no mention about it.
There are mentions about it. And you have sort of answered your own question in the sense that you have not answered the own question, but you have emphasized the point that I brought up here, which said one should not give oral reception to an unauthorized person. Encyclopedia Britannica is not authorized. From the Shastric perspective, it is not authorized. Rest of the world can go gaga over Encyclopedia Britannica. Purchase Encyclopedia Britannica and keep it in your home. Instead, what we tell you to buy, instead of Encyclopedia Britannica, what do we tell you to buy? That looks like
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam
Chaitanya
Charitamrita, right? So those are the authorized books that we refer to. Okay? And it's a demonic mentality that they will not write about God. That is the problem of Kali Yuga. Right, Varshana Mataji? So we have to go and get information from the right source. If you don't know what the right source is, you know who can tell you what the right source is, your spiritual master. Right?
And Mataji,
then about documenting this thing, but documenting these, when were these things written? So if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, then you will know, and it should be read over and over again.
Yeah.
That we know that Bhagavatam was first spoken by
Vyasdev.
First spoken by whom? Very first time. So Tapa, you want to tell us?
Yes, Mataji, I have a question, but
You have to first give me the answer to the question. So
Mataji,
when was Bhagavatam first spoken? And I will come to your question. Keep your hand raised. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
When was Bhagavatam spoken first time? And when I give you the answer, you all are going to say, yeah, we knew that.
Narad. Narad
What is
Muni
Chaturshloki Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Wasn't it first by Vyasadeva Mataji? And then
Now
by
that is
Sukdev?
speculation. It was first spoken by Krishna
Brahmaji.
to Brahma. Yeah. Krishna to Brahma. Your shastras have to come from Krishna. Keep that in mind. Okay? They can be elaborated, they can be substantiated, they can be explained, they can be commented on, and so on, but they have to come from Krishna. Right? So Srimad Bhagavatam was first spoken by Krishna to Brahma, and it says that in the second canto, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And then this Bhagavatam was repeatedly told to many people. Bhagavatam is spoken in all the different planets in different sizes. Right? Like in here we have 18,000 verses, they kill us. Right? Other places Bhagavatam is 1 lakh verses. But when it started, just 4 verses was sufficient for Brahma, because Brahma is so intelligent that you tell him 4 verses, he gets the essence of Bhagavatam. But now here you have to explain things, then you have to give examples, then you have to tell stories. So it becomes bigger in size for people like us, right? Now also, you have to remember that as these 4 cycles of yoga progress, so we start from Satya-yoga, where people are so intelligent that if somebody speaks the Bhagavatam to you and you listen, it is memorized. So there was no need to write down. When was it documented? There was no need for it. What's the need of documenting it? Why do you have to write it down? I get it straight in my head.
I gave this answer, but unfortunately, nobody believed me.
That's fine. You go in the company of believers. Sangha-tyaga sato-vritti, right? Because otherwise your enthusiasm will go down. They will dampen your enthusiasm for devotional service. So you have to speak to the right audience also. Don't bring up controversial topics. Let them be. Let Krishna cook them and you cook prasadam. Right? So it was only in the beginning of Satyuga when Vyasadeva realized that people manda sumanda matayo madbhagya hi upadritaha. He knew that people who are coming in this yuga are going to be less intelligent. They will not have a good memory. They will always be disturbed. So when I'm telling you 18,000 verses, you won't even listen to me because your mind will be disturbed going here and there. Right? So what to talk about memorizing it? We can't even hear it in the first place. So that is why he took to the process of documenting and writing it down.
And Mataji, it is said that the Sanskrit language was not there when I said Krishna spoke in Sanskrit only, and everybody, you see, discussed this. There was no language then.
That's what I'm saying. Darwin says that men came from monkeys. What do you expect from Darwin? He came from a monkey. Right? You have to listen to people who came from Krishna, right? Brahma is born from Krishna. Listen to him. People born from Brahma, listen to them, Narada. Why do you have to listen to somebody who says he came from a monkey?
No matter when general discussion takes place.
These are useless discussions. Don't even waste your time in that. When these discussions are going on, you take out your Bhagavad Gita, memorize your verse. Because if you don't do that, your determination, your enthusiasm will wane. And your faith will also go away. You have to be around people who will strengthen your faith. If you spend your mind, because it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. The waves, the impressions are there embedded in your mind from what they said. And then the doubt will be planted in your mind. And then it'll go over. Mind is like that, right? Needs one single thing, impetus, to take you in the other direction. Right?
Actually, Mataji, my faith didn't go down, and enthusiasm.
If you do that, yeah. If it increases your enthusiasm, then go for it. Go there.
Yeah, that was intact. But I said, if I can get the answer from you, then I'll be able to tell them.
Yeah. So you cannot. Casting pearls before the swine is what they say, right? भैंस के आगे बीन बजाने से कोई फायदा नहीं. Let Krishna take care of them. Right? Avyartha kalatvam. Don't waste your time. So, yeah. So I was saying that one should not give oral reception to an unauthorized person. Listen from the authorized people. And authorized, we said, Bhagavatam first came from Krishna, right? And then we hear it like that. In this context, I also wanted to bring one thing, that we are in the chapter of meditation, yoga. We're talking about the mind, right? And in the purport, etc., we are talking about something else, right? I have jumped to this nectar of instruction, like, hey, what happened to chapter 6, verse 24? Why are we talking about this, right? Because this oral reception, and even higher than oral reception, is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, right? Because when you are, this verse is saying, this verse from 624 today is saying, one should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses on all the sides by the mind, right? Now, in Dhyan Yoga, what we're doing is we're just trying to control the mind. But if we are doing chanting of the Lord, how many senses are involved in the chanting of the Lord, holy names of the Lord?
Tongue, ears, hand,
Mouth,
Mind,
tongue.
all the senses.
Mind,
all this.
right? Yeah. And if you're doing japa walk,
Walking, leg, feet.
also, right? Yeah. So 10 out of the 5 senses, 50% of the senses are engaged there, right? And you're trying to control the mind. So which will be more powerful? And especially in this age when manda sumanda matyo, mad bhagya hi upadita. Upadita means always disturbed. Okay. So so that's one point that I wanted to make here, but we'll take Sutapa's question now. She has to leave at 7. So
Mataji, the people who worship like demigods, like they are also doing these 9 stages or maybe less, but that is not devotional service. Then we cannot call the devotional service, like,
it
or
depends
only
on the intention behind it, right? Why were we worshiping the demigods? Okay. Most of the times people go to the demigods because demigods are able to give you material benefit,
Material benefit. Yeah.
right? But if you're going like the gopis, they pray to Katyani. Katyani is Durga. She's a demigod, right? They pray to her. What were they praying? Katyani, please make Krishna our husband. So you see, the thought there is not a material thought. It's a transcendental thought because you want Krishna as your husband. You're not saying, make some king my husband so that I'll be rich, I'll be powerful. No. Right?
But Shraddha Mataji, even if the demigods grant you your wishes, doesn't Krishna actually even control the demigods?
Yes. Krishna says in
So,
Bhagavad Gita that even if
yeah.
they think they actually come from me only.
Yeah. So why worship the demigods? Just worship me. Is that
Okay.
true?
Can somebody tell me a verse that we came recently? like Sunday? Varshana Mataji, you want to recite the verse which is in front of you and on the screen?
It's not in front of us.
You're not seeing it? Oh, I thought I
No.
was showing it to you all along. Okay. All right, let me share again. I think something went wrong. Oh, it went to the new window. That's fine. Okay. Yeah.
यावानर्थ उत्पाने सर्वता सम्पलुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. Mataji, I find it very difficult to pronounce this samplutodak.
You said that right now. You said that just now correctly. You break it down. Break big problems into smaller problems. Sam, plu, to, the, ke. And don't be in a hurry. Slowly, sam, plu, to, the, ke. Right? So what does it say? So it's exactly what our Sukumalari Mataji was saying.
Yeah.
All purposes. Go ahead. Yeah.
All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by the great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them.
And what was the purpose behind the Vedas? We talked about that on Sunday. What is the purpose behind the Vedas?
Supreme Brahman.
Vedescha sarver aham eva Veda.
Okay.
That's the purpose, that you know Krishna, right? So if you go know Krishna and you go in that direction of knowing Krishna, then whatever you get from the Veda, dharma, artha, kam, and moksha, all the material gains you'll automatically get. And you go to the demigods to get the material gains. You don't have to do that. You just go to God.
Yeah.
Krishna. You can give that, all that. Sudama, right? Like that.
Mataji, doesn't it serve the purpose of self-realization as it is?
That is, first self-realization is the first step towards God realization. To know that you are a soul and not the body. And then once you know that you are a soul and not the body, then you have to find out who are you related to, right? And then you know God, and then you know the relationship. How are you related to the God? Our mode is of servitorship, that I am a servant of the Lord. And I can serve him in many capacities. I can serve him as a parent. Yashoda Maya would be serving him, right? Making food, worrying for him. She was serving. Arjuna was serving as a friend, like that. Gopis were serving him as a lover. But there is an element of service in all the rasas that are there.
But we serve him as in the Dasya bhav. But Mataji, many a times it happens that you see, when you go to the temple, you get late, you see, coming from there, and you feel, oh my God, my Lord is hungry. I haven't given him anything in the afternoon. So immediately, you see, I go and give. But then I feel very bad at that time that I haven't served anything to the Lord. So that is that
what you can do is you can, before you leave for the temple, if instead of the Lord, if it was your son and you were going away somewhere, you wouldn't have left your son hungry for many hours, right? So you would have kept some snacks for your son to say, hey, I'm going to come late. I'm going to cook food for you later. But in the meantime, if you're hungry, here's an apple, here's a sandwich, here's some snack, right? Like that. You can give snacks. You can put dry fruits and water in front of the always, without guilt. Because it's not that you went to watch a movie. You went to the temple where the Lord was and you served the Lord there, right? So you were still serving. The guilt should come when you have not served, right? But when you have deity at your home, the attachment comes like that, right? You get attached to the deity and then you start having these feelings for the deity.
But even if you don't have deity and you just have the picture, even then you feel.
Picture is a deity.
Deities.
Yeah, deity can mean 6 forms, right?
Yeah, wood, paper,
sand,
metal,
painting.
Correct.
Actually, if a person prays to a picture for a very long time, or even to a statue for a very long time, with faith and reverence and love, then the Lord comes and resides into that picture and into that statue, and then it becomes a deity, like that. So you don't necessarily have to bring in Brahmanans who do the sthapana and all that stuff. If you have been doing it for a very long time, then it becomes a deity. You have to keep that in mind, that, and be reverential. Yeah. Right. So then going back to our verse of today, catching up a few more points that I wanted to bring. So sa niścayena yoktavyo yoga nirviṇṇa-cetasā. So our mind should not be diverted in many, many directions, right? And it's a mind that diverts it from here and there. And then, of course, there is our senses that are going here, there, everywhere, and they are bringing the information and feeding it to the mind, right? And the mind can consult with the intelligence, and that's it. Then you have a good time here in the material world, and before you know, like 45 years have passed. And we are wondering what happened. Right? So we have to keep certain things in mind, right? That when our senses are capturing information from the outside world and they are presenting it to us in the form of temptation, right? And temptation could be anything. It could be as simple as, an ice cream. And you're not supposed to eat ice cream because doctor said don't eat it. But then it's such a nice, juicy, luscious, yellow-colored mango ice cream. It's very hot. Ice caught attention. So we want that, right? So these temptations are going to be there always from the outside world. The material world is like that. And the senses' job is to capture all this information and present it to the mind. Like that, right? So it is almost as if, our senses are stalking us. You know who is a stalker? Who's a stalker?
The mind.
No, in real world.
Oh, a stalker is someone who follows you everywhere
Right.
against your wishes.
So our mind is like mind and in the senses combination is like a stalking system, right? The indriyas are going to capture the information, mind is going to present it now to the soul, and then you end up doing it, right? Again, the kāmāns will come in handy there. Right?
Mataji, I follow what Mataji said.
Stalker is a person जो पीछे पीछे लगता है. कभी कभी होता है ना लड़की स्कूल जाती है लड़का पीछे.
And they keep stalking the.
Okay, understood.
Stalk करते हैं जैसे stalking. A lion will also stalk its prey.
Yeah.
पीछे पीछे जाएगा. So it's like stalking, right? So when you are stalking, if somebody is stalking you, right? You go to college and you come back from college, this man is following you all the way to your home. Now there's a problem. This person knows your home, so will stalk you every day. Now, what is the solution? You go and tell your daddy this is happening. So dad will say, okay, let's change our home. Let's change our home. He will not be able to stalk us. Right? Because he won't know. So if you are changing your address because somebody is stalking you and you are changing your address, but if we give our new address to the stalker, what's going to happen?
He'll stalk you.
He'll stalk you. He'll continue to stalk you. Okay? So the same thing happens with us here also. When this mind and temptation stalk us, they're following you. The mind follows us everywhere. Where is it that the mind doesn't go? With us. It's there all the time. Even when we are sleeping, the mind is acting, right? In dreams. So when it comes to temptation, how do we equate this temptation to this stalking example that I gave you just now, right? So when a temptation comes to you and you say, not now, okay? There are two options. One is not now, and the option is no. Right? So when you say not now, what's going to happen?
It will happen at a later date.
After some time, it'll come again to stalk you, right? So, no. And that is what they're saying, that in devotional service, you need determination to say, no, I'm not going to do this. Right? So that is something very, very important to keep in mind. Otherwise, it'll keep on coming. And we are talking about, in this Bhakti Yoga, chapter, right? So we are talking about Bhakti Yoga. Dhyan Yoga
Dhyan
chapter.
Yoga.
About Dhyan Yoga, right? So how can we do this, right? So, so your refusal should be very, very strong, and your refusals should be wholehearted, and it should be coming from your heart. Sometimes what happens is that we might not do certain things in public because our image is there. Initiated devotee, 50 years in ISKCON. What will people say if they find me doing this, right? But when I'm alone at home, nobody's watching me, or that's what I think, right? Then I will do whatever I want to do. Not good. You are keeping with you something that really belongs to the trash can. And things sometimes will happen. Sometimes, you'd put on a nice white color clothes and you're neat, clean, you're taking a shower, and you're going to the temple and somebody splashes the dirty water and it comes on you, right? So that's the nature of the material world. You're trying to stay pure. You're trying to stay in the mode of goodness, right? And somebody comes, or somehow from that atmosphere, from the environment, something dirty splashes on you, right? You were walking by and you saw something on the television. So there's something, right? Like Subharu Muni saw something. But instead of trashing it, what he did, he dwelled on it. So when such things happen, you have to make sure that, I am number one, I'm not going to go to that place from where I catch these kind of vibrations, number one. And number two, if I caught that vibration, I'm not going to dwell on it. Because the more you dwell on it, then you get the saṅkalpa, and then the vikalpa, action on the ideas, and then before long, you are so far away from devotional service, like that. Madhav Sangini Mataji, go ahead. You have a question, hand raised.
Oh, Hare Krishna. I just was wondering, it's such a beautiful concept. You said don't dwell on your temptations, or the mind is like a stalker. It's easier said than done, because sometimes we don't even know that our mind is going there. It's so like, it's easier to dwell on it. It becomes nicer to dwell on it than to say no.
Nicer to dwell on it. I like
So
that.
it really needs a skill and a set to, it really needs, like coming to these classes often really helps. And otherwise we can easily get drifted away with our thoughts.
Correct.
Yeah. And another thing is that you said DT, when we just keep praying, even if it's a photograph, for a long time, it becomes a DT. I really like to hear that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, Guru Maharaj shared that with us. Yeah, it's not mine. He told us that if you're paying with faith, because sometimes what happens, especially for us, I mean, here nowadays you see in the temple, Maharaj gives somebody the DTs and he comes and he'll install and there'll be prayers and, so now you know. But then for some others, we already have DTs from like 25 years.
Yeah.
Nobody, we just purchased it from the shop and then we have been serving them. So what do we do now? So that's when he said that, yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
I told you there, yeah. Yeah. So it's 7 o'clock now. I'm going to open it up for thoughts, ideas, suggestions, questions.
Hi, Krishna Mataji, like Madhav Shangani Mataji told that sometimes it's very difficult not to control the thoughts or not to go there.
And instead to sit there, dwell there and enjoy. That's what she also said. We like doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mataji, like as we need to control the thoughts, so some people, they also, if you talk to them, they also approach like this, they also talk like this. So then we should avoid that person also to not to hear or not to get into that temptation. right?
If you can, right? See, if you're so if it depends. If somebody is in your charge and you're responsible for grooming them, then you will. If not, then there are chances that especially adults will not listen, and especially relatives will not listen, right? So two things. Our weapon is, what is our weapon?
I always feel close your ears.
No.
No,
What is our weapon to
Re-
make others stop thinking?
Oh, like you told so many times that you leave that place or you make some excuse.
No, that is for yourself. That is for
Oh,
yourself to get away from such vibrations, right? But my
hmm.
question is, how do you impact the other person so that they stop generating such vibrations? Because if they're not vibrating in front of you, you left, that's fine. They will vibrate in front of somebody else. What is our weapon?
Chanting Krishna
Chanting
Nam.
Hare
Krishna
Mahamantra.
Nam.
They won't listen to your chanting, right? What is your weapon? What is
Shall we
ISKCON's weapon? Come on, you all know it.
for regulative
How will
I-
four
principle?
regulative principle impact the other person? Think before you answer.
No.
No. You have to understand. You have to accept before you start believing in four regulative principles.
What is ISKCON's famous weapon that is used on non-devotees?
Books.
Prabhupada used it
Oh,
so
who
effectively.
distribute books.
yeah.
Books.
Prasadam.
Prasadam, yes. Prasadam, they will have accepted nicely. They'll still be your friends. You don't have to discuss why Mahabharata is not documented, things like that. Just say, oh, khao, gujiya khao. Maine banai achhi. Say khao. I once remember we were going on book distribution and we went to a place and that person had a friend, she was a Christian. And so I had prasadam with me. I had taken it to my friend's place and I said, offered some prasadam to this girl also. She said, no, we Christians don't take prasadam from the Hindus.
They don't take
Because that's faith. That's faith, you know. I say faith on prasadam, it will do something to me. I better not eat it. So,
But not everybody will be influenced by just giving prasadam. It's just, what if it's just a one-time thing? Then you never see that person again.
that's fine. You have planted the seed. Prasadam will have its effect. Prasadam is very powerful. It's very, very powerful. Yeah.
So at home, can we offer bhog and offer prasadam and give it to somebody else?
Yes,
Yeah.
you should. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, you should distribute prasadam. And people will
Hmm.
take. And what did Prabhupada make in prasadam? Did he make panjiri?
Gulab jamun.
It's such attractive things. Samosa, gulab jamun. Such attractive things.
Thank you, Mataji. I need to leave. Thank you, Mataji, for talking to
Thank you.
us.
And while you're leaving, Prem Mai Radha Mataji is joining us here. Mataji, now times have changed in USA. So we
Yes,
started
sorry.
an hour early, but still.
Okay.
You've come at the Q&A
No,
time. Yeah. We were
I
just
just
wrapping up
want,
6:24. Yeah.
yeah, whatever little one sentence I heard was that somebody who's not Krishna conscious is still, how do we, make him Krishna conscious? Is
Influence
that,
them. Yeah. Yeah. Easiest way and the very powerful way I was asking. And the answer is give them prasadam.
I can give a small example, Mataji, if time permits.
Go ahead.
My
Yeah.
my son, he's been seeing us doing this from grade 9, I think from grade 9. Now he's in college last year of college. And suddenly he just came because he had a 10-day break. And, so he's been always like, he can't stop us because we are adults, but he would not show too much interest, like he would say, what's wrong with you? You guys should earn more money, make your life more comfortable. Why are you only doing this? Because he said, Mama, you could just do 5 minutes, light the lamp and all, but I see you 24 hours holding your mala and roaming all over the house, But yesterday some miracle happened. We had to go for a house program, and Amoglila Prabhu was coming for that program. It was a child's birthday, a very good friend of my daughter's and our friends also. So suddenly my husband said, we have this engagement in the evening. He just landed 2 days back, and my husband said, we have this engagement for 3-4 hours. Would you like to come? And strangely, I was not present, and strangely he agreed. And he stayed for the entire kirtan. Then Amoglila Prabhu was a little late, so he came after 1.5 hours of kirtan. So he heard the entire 1.5 hour of kirtan. And I was sitting next to him and making it a little lively for him so that he doesn't get bored. So he said, all these people are singing one mantra with different tunes, what are they getting out of singing the same thing again and again? So, but these things he was realizing when he was sitting at the end, he said, yeah, this is also a nice way of celebrating a birthday, And then I was getting a little worried because, 1.5 hours is too much patience for him to keep. Then Amoglila Prabhuji arrived, and he was still there. So I was just thanking God Nitai, who was right in front of me. And then Amoglila Prabhu, usually what he does, especially in children's programs, he comes with like 7-8 stories. And then he asks the children to give the lesson from the story. Like, I don't know how much time is it, but one story that I remembered was, he said that, when Sugriv met God Ram, Lord Ram and Lakshman for the first time, what he did was he invited Ramji in his cave, and Ramji took asan, and Sugriv sat next to him, and he didn't even offer asan to Lakshman. So Lakshmanji was standing, and then obviously there was some kind of expression on Ramji's face that, my brother, who's Sheshnag, is not offered an asan, and this Sugriv, he's sitting next to me. So, maybe he was thinking that there's no etiquette, he doesn't have any etiquette. But meantime, Hanumanji, he could realize that, Ramji is not very satisfied with this behavior. So he quickly ran, he quickly flew and ran and got some leaves. And he made a nice asan on a high pedestal. He made a nice asan of leaves for Lakshmanji and invited him to have a seat. And then next to Lakshmanji, he sat down with his folded hands like a servant. And then Ramji looked at Hanumanji and was smiling. And Hanumanji looked at Ramji and he was also smiling. So then he was asking that, after this story, he was asking the children, what lesson do you learn? So, nice way of interacting with the children, not just giving them lecture. And children were coming up with so many nice realizations, So he was also listening to, I think he must have said 11 to 13 stories like this, short stories. And children were coming up with these answers, very high philosophy answers, that a servant should know the mood of the master. Without the master saying anything, the servant should know what he wants. These kind of things were coming up from 9-year-olds, So he was watching, and he was, at least he was present for me as a mother. He was there for 2.5 hours in a program. That's a huge paradigm shift for him, for myself also. So I was thanking God Nitai that you gave me this opportunity. You gave him this opportunity to come and listen to Vaishnavas. And there was a pure devotee also in the assembly. His name is Asit Prabhu. He goes to different places like Mayapur and all, and gives classes. And everybody knows that he is Bhajananandi. He's really high up there. So I just bowed down to both of them, and I said, please, Vaishnavas, you can give everything. You can give, even if the person does not deserve, you can still give. Please give this to my child. Even if I don't get anything in this lifetime, I'm okay. I'm pretty quite satisfied, with whatever little I've got in this lifetime. I will do next lifetime, lifetimes after lifetimes, but give him, because very difficult. He lives next to Soho Temple, but he doesn't go to the temple. I gave him this example of Steve Jobs that, he mentioned in his last speech or something that I would go to the Hare Krishna temple to have prasadam. So So I just want to share that sometimes miracles happen, and I pray that more miracles happen in our lives so that our faith becomes stronger.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you so
Mataji.
much. And so don't think that this was a coincidence that your son came like that. This is all Krishna's plan. He arranges it. This is how it happens.
Yeah.
You have been giving him fuel, prasadam, for quite some time. And then now when he's just ripe and ready, Krishna brings, and so Krishna, Amog Leela Prabhu, I mean, who doesn't love Amog Leela Prabhu, right? It's amazing. And so sometimes you need a Amog Leela. We can't do it to our kids. We can't. They won't listen. It's the mom-dad factor, right? They say, right? So, but when somebody from outside comes, and that is why I was going to give that response to Sutapa Mataji also, who was here earlier, that don't try to teach people around you, or even to Vashana Mataji. Don't try to explain things to people, especially your relatives, children, parents. Never. Because they have a special relationship with you. They won't listen to you either ways. If you're a parent or if you're the child, they won't listen. But if somebody else, you bring a son from outside, bring somebody from the temple, he'll listen to Amog Leela, because Amog Leela is also young, right? So that relation, that the closeness of age is there, right? So Krishna arranges that. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing the story.
But Mataji, I still have one little doubt that maybe this incident might not change his life, or maybe this
Oh,
incident
one more
might
thing I
not
wanted
make
to
him.
say. Yeah, one more thing I want to say, but to answer your question, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi ko hai. Even Lava Matra, like even Lava is such a small time, but he was there for 2.5 hours. So trust me, it'll have the impact. You might not see it right now, right? The impact, but the impact will be there, right? Nehavi Kamanasosi Pratyavayo na vidyate. 2.40 from Bhagavad Gita. It says that even if you have done little bit, Sualpa, small, not alpa is small, Sualpa is very small. Even if you do a small amount of devotional service, right? A small amount of devotional service you do, then it will add, and you will be guaranteed a human life in the next life, human form in the next life. That's why when you go out on book distribution, we bring people and we say Hare Krishna. Why are we asking them to say Hare Krishna? Some meat-eating monster. Because if he chants the name of the Lord one time, in the next life, he will get a human body. Right? Otherwise, you can imagine, the person is a meat eater, where they are going to go in next life, right? So that second thing, one more point that I want to bring up was that, and this came as an eye-opener to me when my spiritual master told me this. I used to have this nice bargaining, sacrificing relationship with the Lord. Like, I want something for my child. So, okay, Krishna, don't give it to me, but give it to my daughter, right? It's okay. So then Vaishnav said, Krishna owns everything. Why are you doing this rationing with him? You just ask for your daughter. That's it. Why are you cutting yourself? Don't do it. So don't say that Krishna, whatever I have got in devotional service is enough for me. And you give from my little quota, you give it to my son. Krishna is quota-less. He's got a huge part of from here. He's full of mercy. He can give mercy to you as well as to your son. So don't do that bargain with Krishna. But I'm so happy for the story. And see, that's why they also say that initiation has its place in the life, right? I mean, you were initiated just less than a month ago, and this is happening in your life. That's why we have to take initiation seriously. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for these realizations. I wouldn't have known these. Thank you, Mataji.
There you go. Thank you for joining. And I see two hands or one hand there. Madhav Sangini Mataji.
Oh, I just wanted to share this, my experience really quickly. So I went to the yatra, as you know, but I was meeting 3 or 4 devotees in Calcutta airport and then going to Mayapur. But while I was going to Calcutta, it was early in the morning. I just landed in Mumbai and was catching a connecting flight. It was February 27th. And I got a call from the devotee's phone call. And I go, why is he calling? Because I was texting him that I've landed and waiting for the flight. And they were in Ahmedabad. They were catching a flight from Ahmedabad to Calcutta, and we were going to meet there. So it was somebody else from using his phone. It wasn't him. It was one of the other devotees. And he said, oh, Mataji, you go and check into a hotel in Calcutta. And I had no idea about what hotel to check in. I had totally depended on them, that they have made all the plans. And I go, oh, where are you? He goes, we may be delayed 1 or 2 days. And I was like, oh my God, they were in an accident. They said they are in the hospital. I had no idea what kind of accident they were in. So I'm going to Calcutta. I go, oh my God, where do I find a hotel? I don't even know any hotel's name. India is very new to me. I have never traveled alone in India. I was just praying, and all I know is there was this guy sitting next to me in the plane, and I said, do you know any? I started talking to him, and I said, I have to check into the hotel, and I don't know even any hotel's names. And he said, unfortunately, he's going to visit his family, but he said, don't go out of the airport and look for a hotel or a taxi driver while in the airport. Go to the information center and they may be able to help you. And to make the long story short, they did help me. I got the hotel. It was called Shri Krishna Hotel. It wasn't a 5-star hotel or anything, but I just went there, and the environment is very new to me. I mean, I've been to India before, but never been alone. So I got checked into the hotel. I called my friend to see if he's answering or not. There's no answer. By the time it's 7 o'clock, I go, oh my God, what do I do? And I just wanted to come back to US really fast. But all the flights were booked. As the days unfolded, I found out that they are in a very bad accident. He's still in the hospital right now. He was in an ICU. So I knew I would never meet them. They never came to meet me. I was all alone. So I was scared at the same time. And then I was thinking, oh my God, what do I do? So my cousin calls me and says, just make the best of it. So while in Calcutta, I did go to Srila Prabhupada's birthplace. I went to Calcutta, ISKCON. I went to a few other places. That the hotel manager was really nice when I ordered. It was a small hotel. When I ordered, I said, what do you have without garlic and onion? So as soon as they knew I was not eating garlic and onion, the owner himself was a Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotee. He goes, oh, we wake up early in the morning and we offer the bhog. We do everything like they do in the mandir. So he was sending me his prasadam every day. I stayed in Calcutta for 6 days. Then I said, okay, I'm flying out of Delhi. So I went to Delhi and I just booked a hotel. My cousin goes, go into a 5-star hotel. So while in Delhi, I just made a day trip twice to Vrindavan, and I went to Mathura, Radha Kund, and a few other places. But while going to Delhi, I was waiting, and from the side of my eye, I see orange clothes, people in orange clothes. So I thought, maybe they are Buddhist monks. But then I quickly looked. I saw that tilak on the face. I go, oh, they are Hare Krishna people. So I didn't even know from the side of my eye. So I said, maybe I should get up and do Hare Krishna, Dandavat, Pranam to them. And as soon as I face him face to face, I was like, oh my God, it was Amog Leela Prabhu. It was like meeting a celebrity. I was so
Wow.
happy and surprised at the same time. And then they came to my gate 23 and they paused there for a while. They were
What
not,
date was that?
this
When
was March 1st. March
Okay.
2nd, no, March 4th. This was March 4th. I was flying to Delhi from Calcutta.
Okay. Because we were in Vrindavan towards the end of February with Guru Maharaj's yatra. And
Oh,
so Radha-Kripa Prabhu was coming back with his daughter Anapaini, and Amog Leela Prabhu was in the same plane.
oh
So
my God. So it must be the same plane. Yeah, because
yeah, I know, no, but it's a different
then he
date.
went on to, then there were 2 other Matajis came to him. So he was there with another devotee, another Maharaj. I don't know his name. And he introduced me to that Maharaj, but I forgot his name. He was a very exalted Maharaj. And then there was another devotee with him, and two Matajis came and said, no, I think they pointed to where they are. And I go, what are the chances? I felt that at least I have been protected and I'm being looked after, despite I felt very lonely. But my trip overall was a mixed feelings, but it was really good.
Yeah.
And when the Mataji said he Amog Leela Prabhu, I go, oh my God, I met him, and it was really like meeting a celebrity when in the material world, when you are getting so happy just to meet him. That was the feeling I could relate to.
Awesome. Yeah.
And
Nice.
it
Thank
was
you.
really nice. The other Matajis did Dandavat Pranam to him in the airport. I go, oh, I should do that too. So it was really, really, really nice bumping into them. I go, oh my God, I felt like I've been looked after, despite the
Yes,
fact I
Krishna
felt I never
takes
met.
care. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moral of the story is don't go alone on yatras like that. Go
No,
with your
I've
spiritual
learned
master.
it.
Yeah, he goes in on yatras every year.
Yeah.
You go with him, you'll be well taken care of. And
Yeah,
second
I
thing is that if
really
you get
learned
stranded
my
like that,
lesson.
yeah,
Yeah.
get stranded like that, right? You can also write to the VDA disciple group and say this has happened, right? You have got siblings all over the world, right? And
Oh,
Calcutta
okay.
a lot. They will be able to quickly guide
I
you.
thought of
Of course,
writing to
Krishna took
you,
care
but
of it.
for some reason, I don't know why I never wrote to you. I wanted to text you.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. Anything else?
Mataji, now every Saturday we have 6:30, is it? 6:30 to 7:30?
No, well, my time will be, yes, your 6:30. Yes, your 6:30 a.m. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of 7:30. This will go on till November. And November will change the time again. I don't know why we do this. It's crazy. Yeah. But we do it, yeah.
Tomorrow is a big preparation in the mandir.
Tomorrow is a big preparation shopping. Yeah. Still be doing shopping, decoration. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthday is on Sunday.
Sunday.
It's raining tomorrow. I'll see if I'm up and I may drive there if it's not raining.
Wow. And you know what? It rains usually around Vaishnava. I was initiated. I got my second initiation on Gaura Purnima. It rained so bad, I cannot tell you.
Oh.
Torrential rains. Yeah, torrential rains. Yeah, I had to leave my car and, yeah, like that. Couldn't drive back. But anyway, yeah. Let's hope Sunday is bright.
Mataji, when was your first initiation? Which year?
Which year? 2010.
2010.
2010. Yeah. And then second was 2011. Yeah. That.
20?
11.
50? 11.
11.
Oh, within 1 year. So when I met you, you were already initiated.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, I have to go back to work actually. There are some software deployments going on today. Yeah, so it'll be a long night for me. But nothing better than being in the association of devotees, satavritti, one of the items of, progress in devotional service. But thank you so much for sharing these wonderful stories. They make devotional service even more tasty. As such, it is tasty, but it makes it even more tasty thing. Right? And then again, for those of you who joined late, there won't be any class on Sunday because all of us will be celebrating Gaura Purnima here in USA on Sunday. I'll write on Bhakti Vriksha also. Bhakti Vriksha WhatsApp group, no class on Sunday. Okay.
Sunday. We
We'll
also
continue to focus on that verse that we did last time. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then I'll take leave. Those of you watching us on Facebook as well as YouTube and here, of course, on Zoom. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Go Premanande. Hari Hari.
Hari Bol.
Dandapranam.